Hello, gringos y gringas, spinners and binneres. Welcome back to El Racist Latino. I am your host, Rafael Contreras, and today we have a pretty fun show. We're gonna learn all about Thailand and Cambodia, and the knowledge I know is as of the moment pretty limited. That's why we are here. The principle of this pod is not only me lecturing you about all of the knowledge I know, but for us to actually go in the rabbit hole together and figure this shit out together, and yeah, try to find unbiased sources and try to filter the bullshit out to reach the conclusion that comes closer to the absolute truth as we possibly can. So, Thailand and Cambodia, it's been here and there in the news this year. At the beginning of the year, there were some conflicts and stuff, and Trump's most famous war that he stopped. He stopped 8 wars this year, apparently. Not Ukraine, not Israel and Gaza, but Thailand and Cambodia, which reignited, or India and Pakistan. And it's cool that he had a couple of hands involved, and he had influence, and he moved his influence towards peace. However, when he said no wars, no new wars, and also stop the wars that we are fighting, this is not the ones that everybody know that he meant. We all assume that he meant the wars where the United States government is involved, like Somalia, man. You said no, we're gonna stop. No, nobody knows about this. Very few people. Nobody talks about it. But last year was the year that the U.S. bombed Somalia the most in history, and it's been bombing Somalia for 20 years. And last year it was the year that more bombs were dropped than ever. So amazing, bro. Thank you for stopping I mean, thank you for the help, and thank you for stopping Rwanda and whatever the fuck. But that's not what anybody meant. Only you, I guess. Anyway, so this has been some conflict since the beginning of the year. Then apparently he stopped it, but it has been reignited again. Apparently over some Hinduist temple. As I said, we're gonna figure it out together. The name Preah Vihear or something. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And yeah, we will see. We will see what happens. The rumors I have heard so far about this is that you would assume that Thailand is lying in the west, to the west, especially if you've been there. It's very western-like country, and Cambodia, it's borders China, and in history, it has been more of a lefty team, a axis of evil team. But apparently it's the opposite. Apparently Thailand and China have now very, very strong financial and commerce relationships, and it was some kind of US diplomatic group that landed in Cambodia right before all of this conflict started, as usual. But do we know why? Do we know no, that's what we're about to figure out. So the plan for tonight would be, or for today would be, to first look in YouTube a little bit, find out the story, if we can get some context or where this is conflict coming from in the past, how many years does it have, maybe a short history on these two countries and their relationships. And we're gonna also search a little bit on X and Twitter to see what is the worldwide square saying. And yeah, it's always a little bit funny to rabbit hole in Twitter and X. And of course, for the latest, we are gonna go to our friends at antiwar.com and check what are the latest news. In case you don't know antiwar.com, go check it out. It's one of the most objective and reliable news sources out there. So yeah, but before we start, obviously, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Important, is helps the algorithm a lot. Tell your friends. I did a stream today already. It's not live, it's gonna release later. A new segment called Podcast Breakdown. So I already created 1.5 hours of content, and for you guys, it's gonna be there later in the night, where we are going through this interview about is World War III gonna happen next year, and then analyzing and kind of correcting a little bit the hyperboles and stuff, kind of reach a realistic conclusion, which I think we did. So yeah, don't miss that one a little bit later. Press the bell so you know, because I'm releasing new segments now. I'm not going only live. I'm also gonna start producing some scheduled videos, only VODs. So yeah, don't miss any of that. And thanks for the support and for telling your friends. Always useful. So yeah, and obviously if you know something that I don't know, comment, let me know. Hey, this is something happened, this you are incorrect, you are this, blah 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 blah. Share your sources also if you have them, and let's get right to it. So as I said, we are gonna start right here in YouTube, and we are gonna see why Thailand and Cambodia are fighting over a temple and a French map. Alright. Actually, I keep forgetting, man. Let's check the map, right? That's what we do. That's what we like to do over here. So if we check the map, we find here Thailand and Cambodia, which doesn't have a border to China anymore. That's my bad. I thought it did. Where do I get the... here, layers. There we go. Yeah, that's nicer. Yeah, that's easier to find. Okay, I guess the problem is somewhere here. This border is supposed to be the problem. So here we are in Southeast Asia, right? Next to Myanmar and Bangladesh and Laos, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia is somewhere there, Indonesia, Philippines, all of these people are there. So the capital of Cambodia, Phnom Penh, Siem Reap, very famous touristic temple to visit, worldwide famous. Been wanting to go there for a while. I hope I can still do. Please don't destroy it. And of course, Thailand, you have Bangkok, very famous touristic city. I think Bangkok is has been the most touristic city in the world already for some years. So Thailand is extremely westernized. All of these countries are already kind of westernized, including Vietnam. Laos, I don't really know much. And yeah, Bangladesh is its own thing. So yeah, good. Now we know the geography. Let's check out this 5-minute clip. Let's see what's up here.
How did a French-drawn colonial map from 1907 become the center of a modern border conflict between Thailand and Cambodia? Since May 2025, the two neighbors have exchanged fire along the shared frontier, but began as small skirmishes has escalated into deadly clashes, displacing thousands as both countries' militaries fortified their positions. At the heart of the crisis is an 11th century Khmer temple and a colonial era map.
Well, as with a lot of things in mainland Southeast Asia, ultimately we can blame France. This boils down to a disagreement over where the land border between Cambodia and Thailand is supposed to lie, particularly around some culturally sensitive temples and religious sites.
To understand why this dispute still matters today, we need to go back.
Yes, let's go back. That's what we want to check out. A bit the
Preah
history.
Vihear, a Hindu temple
Preah
built in
Vihear.
the 11th and 12th centuries by the Khmer Empire atop the Dangrei Mountains in present-day Cambodia became sacred to both Cambodians and Thais as Buddhism spread through the region. By the 18th century, the Khmer Empire had declined, and Siam, modern Thailand, absorbed large areas once under Khmer influence. In the late 19th century, Siam clashed with expanding French colonial forces. In 1904, treaty signed by both sides required borders between French-controlled Cambodia and Siam to follow the watershed line. But the map the French produced in 1907 placed all of Preah Vihear inside Cambodia, contrary to the treaty's technical requirements. There was no joint resurvey. Siam never formally approved the map, but for decades it did not challenge it. In 1941, during World War II, Thailand briefly seized the temple during its alliance with Japan. After Japan's defeat, Thailand returned the area to French Indochina in 1946. When France withdrew from the region in 1953, the ownership question resurfaced. Thai forces moved in the following year.
Okay, so it was part of one empire. Like from what I see in the maps that they showed, like these ones, it seems like this wasn't like a board. This was all together. Cambodia and Thailand were always part of the same empire. That's the like one of the problems is that these lines are relatively new, I guess, right? The lines are here, and then look at these empires before, right? The first one, where was it? Where is it? Come on. Somewhere here.
By the 18th century,
Here it is. So this first Khmer Empire in the 18th century was basically Cambodia, Vietnam, a big chunk of Thailand, a big chunk of Laos, all together. And here, Cambodia, Vietnam, all together. Brothers from the same mother. Then Siam happens, and Vietnam is just a little bit outside, but Cambodia and Thailand are basically still together, right? A little bit later.
colonial
Then
forces in 1904 treaty.
Okay, then a bit before the First World War, beginning of the century, a treaty signed. Cambodia is controlled by French and Siam to follow the watershed line. Okay.
Deadline. But the map the French produced in 1907 placed all of Preah Vihear inside Cambodia, contrary to the treaty's technical requirements. There was no joint resurvey. Siam never formally approved the map, but for decades it did not challenge it. In 1941, during World War II, Thailand briefly seized the temple during its alliance with Japan. After Japan's defeat, Thailand returned the area to French Indochina in 1946. When France withdrew from the region in 1953, the ownership question resurfaced. Thai forces moved in the following year. In 1959, Cambodia brought the case to the International Court of Justice. Thailand argued that the 1907 map was invalid and pointed to the fact that the temple was easier to access from its own country as proof it belonged to the Thais. But the ICJ discovered that Thailand had implicitly accepted the French map for decades. In 1962, the court ruled that the temple was situated in Cambodian territory. Thailand withdrew its troops and Cambodia allowed Thai pilgrims to visit the temple without visas. Calm ended in 1967 when Cambodia plunged into a bloody civil war with the Khmer Rouge.
The same year as the Egypt-Palestinian war, Egypt-Israel war, 1967. The 5-day war was that one, I think. So close by, well, not so close by, but they were also in war in the same year.
A radical communist movement which built up jungle bases along the
And it was a radical communist movement. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Khmer Rouge.
civil war with the Khmer Rouge, a radical communist movement which built up jungle bases along the border with Thailand. They planted large swaths of landmines to defend their positions.
That's so mean. Fucking landmines, man. That's
After the Khmer Rouge
it
fell,
should be a
the
crime
two
against
neighbors
humanity to
cooperated
plant
reopen
bombs.
the temple to
Plant
tourists,
mines.
and both sides cleared mines in the surrounding border areas to make the site accessible again. The tensions reignited in 2008 when Cambodia applied for UNESCO World Heritage status. Thailand objected, arguing surrounding land was still disputed. Nationalism surged on both sides and border clashes killed and displaced civilians. In 2013, the ICJ issued a
Okay, so the lands have been disputed for a while. It's not like it belongs to someone and now this person wants it back. This is undisputed land and they finally want to reach a conclusion about who owns this land. It's been too long. We've been doing this shit since the fucking 1904 or whatever. And who is this temple belonging to, apparently? Or this area? Probably, I can imagine like in land size, it's apparently something symbolic and also highly touristic.
The temple and its immediate vicinity belonged to Cambodia, but the wider border remained undefined. Tensions rose again in 2024 after the two countries began discussing joint offshore energy exploration, triggering political backlash in Thailand. In June 2025, a leaked phone call involving former Thai leader Paetongtarn Shinawatra and Cambodia's former PM Hun Sen sparked allegations that Thailand's position had been undermined. The political crisis led to Shinawatra's suspension and removal from office. Since then, exchanges of fire have continued, with but Thailand's more powerful military and Cambodia's smaller forces engaged in sporadic clashes.
Cambodians are hopelessly outmatched here, particularly when it comes to higher-end platforms. The airstrikes that Thailand conducted in the last 24 hours...
Yeah, because now Thailand is a Western country that is open to capitalism and has money. When a government has money, they can invest in the military. This is all 1+1 kind of thing. So you have a poor country that doesn't even have money to feed its own population, it's not like Cambodia doesn't have tourists, it has a ton of tourists, but not even as close as Thailand. And yeah, that means less money in general. So a point for capitalism, I guess. Just because you have money doesn't mean you should spend it in military. I want to live in a world where hopefully we don't need militaries at all, which is obviously unrealistic and utopian and fairy tale sounding like. So, yeah, if you are gonna have to defend yourself, then wouldn't you just... that's actually just an extra argument. Like when that happens, when you have enough money to buy proper military equipment, this means that your population is already happy. It's already prosperous, right? So that's a good sign that Thailand is doing better than Cambodia. The fact that Cambodia is completely outgunned and outmatched. And in the last 24 hours, F-16s, fourth generation fighter jets.
US F-16s, fourth generation fighter jets. Cambodia has nothing of the sort.
No
Malaysia's
chance, not
Prime
even
Minister
close.
Anwar Ibrahim is now mediating talks, and the United States has urged for a ceasefire.
I think there is effort on the Malaysian side, and we'll see how the Americans intervene if Donald Trump gets on the phone again with these leaders in Cambodia and Thailand to salvage the ceasefire.
But a ceasefire alone cannot erase a colonial map drawn more than a century ago, nor the deep historical grievances behind this long-standing border dispute.
Okay, that's a good intro. It's a nice way to start. Let's see what else we can find. Let's see.
Beginning on the 24th of July of 2025, the world's
Okay, yeah, that was the first conflict.
attention suddenly and briefly shifted towards Southeast Asia, as the armies of Cambodia and Thailand clashed against each other in the most shocking eruption of violence the region has seen in decades since the turbulent Cold War era. Both sides deployed and fired heavy artillery, rockets, and drones against each other for days. Infantry battled against each other on the ground.
But
Cambodia
why? Why did that start? You know what? Maybe we can ask Rock. So why did the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia restarted in July 2025? Grok is thinking. Yeah, that's cool. From May. Oh, okay. Apparently it was a fucking mine in the ground that didn't explode in 200 years. Now it exploded and killed 3 children. It's always like this. So the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia rooted in a long... Yeah, this we know. Blah, blah, blah. It restarted in July 2025 after a period of relative calm following early skirmishes in 2008 to 2011. Tensions have been building since May, when a Cambodian soldier was killed in a border incident. It all started because of an accident, which both sides accusing each other of provocation. Well, what else is new? Nobody made a mistake. It was the other guy, the fucking Spider-Man meme. It was him. By June, Thailand escalated by unilaterally closing land borders and imposing economic measures. such as restricting visas, utilities, and energy exports to Cambodia. Of course, Cambodia being the poorer country of the two, then that makes Thailand more powerful when it comes to resources. And yeah, they can just flip the switch, and that's already an escalation. The immediate trigger for the July restart came from a series of incidents. Cambodian forces were accused of digging trenches into Thai territory. Okay, they're gonna sneaking their way in, moving troops and weapons near the border, and laying new landmines in violation of the Ottawa Treaty. I think the clip that we just watched said something, but not this specific, I think. On July 16 and 23, Thai soldiers were injured by these landmines, of course. Then Thailand got pissed and fighting erupted. Then underlying factors, nationalist rivalries, of course, as usual. Even though they were the same people for 300 years, just because they have a border, now there's nationalism. How ridiculous. Poorly equipped combatant troops, blah blah blah. Yeah, so basically because of accidents, that's why everything restarted. Now we know.
Cambodian armor made attempted advances, and most shockingly, the Royal Thai Air Force deployed US-made F-16 and Swedish-made Gripen fighter jets to bomb multiple strategic targets across the border in Cambodia over several days, with claims by the Cambodian side that some of them utilized cluster munitions, historically marking the first time the Cambodian territory had been bombed since the American bombing campaign during the Vietnam War ended all the way back in 1973. Martial law was momentarily declared by the Thai authorities on their side of the border, while both sides accused the other of committing war crimes by bombing or shelling hospitals, schools, and cultural sites and other civilian targets. In the middle of the fighting, Thailand's acting prime minister warned that the conflict had the potential to spiral out of control as the US government issued a maximum level 4 do not travel advisory for all areas within 50 kilometers of the Thailand-Cambodia border. By the end of the 5 days of ferocious fighting between them, when a tenuous ceasefire was finally agreed upon, hundreds of soldiers were potentially left dead, with the Royal Thai Army claiming that around 100 invading Cambodian soldiers were killed during just a single engagement near the Phu Phi area here along the border on the 25th of July, though Cambodia itself so far only recognizes 18 of their soldiers who were killed during the entire conflict, while Thailand recognizes 15 soldier deaths of their own. At least another 24 civilians across both sides of the border were killed during the 5-day conflict as well. Hundreds of other soldiers and civilians were injured or captured, and around 300,000 people were forcibly displaced from their homes away from the border. Now, the reason why all of this exploded so suddenly and caught the world's attention by such surprise is multifaceted, stemming from rival powerful families in both countries with complicated dynastic ambitions and deep-seated nationalism, historical grievances, and disputed borders.
All the fucking politicians look the same, man. It doesn't matter which race they are.
Countries with
like, I see this dude and he looks like a fucking dick. It doesn't matter. He looks like a Asian version of Donald Trump.
Complicated dynastic ambitions.
It's like you have to have this politician gene in your DNA. It's sort of like Down syndrome. It makes you look a certain way. Yeah, the politician gene makes you look like a fucking dick.
Historical grievances and disputed borders that have festered in the background for decades. And in order to get to the bottom of why this explosion of violence between these two states suddenly happened here, and why it could still blow up again in an even worse way in the future, it helps to begin with the hotly disputed border between them and how it came to be in the first place. You see, both Cambodia and Thailand claim historical rights to a series of highly culturally significant temples along their border today that were constructed centuries ago by the sprawling Khmer Empire, which once dominated mainland Southeast Asia. At the empire's height in the 13th century, it spanned across all of...
We know this more or less. How far behind? How far? Because this video is almost 40 minutes. That's a bit too long. That is a bit too long. So let's...
They had taken during the war. Who was formally bestowed with was Lord Prime Minister and Supreme Military Commander Hun Sen. At the age of 71 in 2023, after decades in power, Hun Sen announced his resignation from the Prime Minister's office in favor of his son, Hun Manet, who immediately succeeded him in a sort of dynastic transfer of power, and who continues to remain in office today. Nonetheless, the elder Hun Sen still retained his position as the head of the Cambodian People's Party, and
so Cambodia is a monarchy, I guess. Like, how do you call that? Genetic monarchy? No, like that kind of monarchy where the king is passed through your not predecessor, is the one before, the next of kin, whatever.
And became the president of the country's Senate after his
so no democracy. That's the point.
retirement from the prime minister position, ensuring his continued influence over Cambodian politics from the sidelines, with his son installed in place as the prime minister. Meanwhile, over in Thailand, a man named Thaksin Shinawatra managed to establish a parallel political dynasty of his own that, for a while, remained very friendly with the Hun family over in Cambodia. Thaksin Shinawatra, a billionaire business tycoon, became Thailand's prime minister in 2001, and very notably became the first ever democratically elected prime minister to ever serve out a full term in office in the country's entire history. During his first term in office through 2005, he also grew very close with Hun Sen in Cambodia, as the two men moved.
Did they say that it was the very first president to serve the full term in office? So all the other presidents were either quit or fired or taken down, or what the fuck, man? So I guess they never even had the re-election opportunity until now.
And moved to anchor their own personal and political fortunes together. In addition to
unless the democracy is pretty new. I don't know when Thailand became democratically independent or whatever. That's a good question.
Temples along their land border, Cambodia and Thailand have maintained a large maritime dispute in the Gulf of Thailand since the 1970s as well, a dispute that has grown increasingly contentious in modern times as the prospect of potential offshore oil and gas discoveries in the Gulf of Thailand has given both countries hopes of huge potential financial windfalls. In 2001, Thaksin Shinawatra and Hun Sen signed a memorandum of understanding that their countries would jointly develop the disputed maritime area in the search for potential oil and gas resources.
Thank you,
but the plan ultimately went nowhere due to stiff resistance from Thaksin's political rivals within Thailand, who were numerous. Thaksin used his office as Thailand's prime minister to throttle and contain his business rivals while benefiting his own business empire, which infuriated the other big business elites in the country against him. He also repeatedly intervened in the affairs of the Thai military, that's always largely been a separate institution within the country independent of civilian command structures, which slowly began infuriating the country's powerful military establishment, monarchy, and royalists against him as well. Even the Thai king himself, a powerful and influential figure within the country, sharply criticized Thaksin's policies during his time in office, beginning a long-running personal feud between Thaksin and the monarchy. Thaksin's other policies he introduced, like
is the guy called Vaccine? This dude keeps repeating himself and saying vaccine or taxine. Yeah, Vaccine's other policy. What the fuck is Vaccine? Oh man, what is his name actually?
Like a universal healthcare program, also made him an enormously popular figure with the everyday Thai people, which further alarmed the Thai business, military, and monarchist establishment that Thaksin had the potential to become the first truly civilian politician to ever manage to establish dominance over the country's political system.
Right,
the Thai army and monarchy have long maintained their grip over the country through multiple coups d'etats against civilian prime ministers.
You know,
who displeased them.
At the beginning, I said that this guy looks like the Asian version of Donald Trump, and that's exactly what he is. Not a politician, billionaire that went into politics and has all the politicians worried. Sound familiar?
Them or have grown too powerful. Ever since Thailand transitioned away from an absolute monarchy in 1932 towards a constitutional monarchy, the Royal Thai Army, which has always remained closely aligned with the monarchy, has launched no less than 12 successful coups against the country's democratically elected governments, including against Thaksin Shinawatra in 2006, shortly after he won his re-election for a second term in office. His party was then immediately outlawed, and he was personally banned from continuing all political activity, and he left the country in self-imposed exile for the next 15 years until 2023. But during these 15 years of exile, Thaksin continued remaining a powerful and influential figure in Thailand and throughout Southeast Asia. He continued his close relationship with Hun Sen, who appointed him as an economic advisor to the Cambodian government shortly after his exile from Thailand. His continuing strong influence in Thailand also contributed to his younger sister, Yingluck Shinawatra, becoming the country's prime minister as well in 2011, until she was also overthrown by another military-led coup a few years later in 2014. Afterwards, both Thaksin and Yingluck Shinawatra sought refuge with Hun Sen in Cambodia. They each began visiting Hun Sen's home there so frequently.
How fragile is the political world in Thailand, that every 3 years there's a military coup to take down whoever is in power. Man, they cannot reach a president. They cannot have a president that reaches the full 5-year term. Like, how not unbalanced, but what's the word? Like, unstable, I guess, yeah. How unstable must the political situation be?
frequently that he even began referring to rooms in his house as the Thaksin room and the Yingluck room, much to the incredible annoyance of the Thai military and monarchy, who began growing even more skeptical of the Shinawatra family's close ties with the Hun family in a foreign country. In 2022, Thaksin managed to finally cut a deal with the Thai military and monarchy establishment to return back to the country again, and he did so the following year in 2023, ending his 15 years of exile. He was immediately arrested upon his return to serve out an 8-year prison sentence that he'd been sentenced to in absentia. But the deal he cut led to his sentence being commuted to just 1 year in exchange for allowing more military-oriented parties into the coalition government. Around the same time in Cambodia in 2023, Hun Sen also stepped down from power and elevated his son into office. While the following year in 2024, Thaksin's daughter, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, rose to power as the third member of the Shinawatra family to become Thailand's prime minister as well, once again setting the stage for a Hun in power in Cambodia and a Shinawatra in power in Thailand. But this time, the close relations between the two powerful families that had lasted for decades began fraying. After he returned to Thailand again in 2023, Thaksin began increasingly pushing Thailand to become an economic competitor with Cambodia. He first suggested building a massive entertainment center in Thailand to challenge the casino industry in Cambodia, which is an important business interest and revenue source for Hun Sen. Then, after his daughter became prime minister in 2024, the Shinawatras launched a crackdown on scam compounds that had proliferated across the border region with Cambodia, which were allegedly another large revenue source for Hun Sen and his family. These developments potentially made Hun Sen begin to feel threatened by the Shinawatras, while he had also likely grown frustrated with the Shinawatras' inability to maintain their power in Thailand the same way that he and his family had managed to do in Cambodia. Negotiations for jointly exploring their disputed maritime areas in the Gulf of Thailand for oil and gas had stalled out despite his agreement with Thaksin on the issue all the way back in 2001. And with complete
Thaksin.
political control over Cambodia...
Here's the name of the guy. Thaksin. Okay. Thaksin Shinawatra.
Hun Sen likely began feeling that he had held up his end of the deal, and then it was the fault of the Shinawatras and their inability to maintain political control in Thailand that had tanked the deal. In this heated environment between the families, Cambodian troops, potentially under Hun Sen's orders, allegedly first occupied one of the disputed temples along the undefined border in February of 2025, shortly after the Thai crackdowns were launched on the scam compounds around the border, reigniting the dormant conflict over the disputed temples again, potentially in an attempt by the Hun family to push back against the Shinawatras. 3 months later, in late May, the dispute escalated into a crisis when a Cambodian soldier was shot and killed by the Thai army in a disputed section of the border during a brief gunfight. Then a couple weeks later, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, still Thailand's prime minister, attempted to call Hun Sen to discuss the crisis, but she was reportedly unable to directly reach him. Instead, Hun Sen called Paetongtarn's personal phone number to discuss the crisis, and for reasons that still currently remain unclear, Hun Sen recorded the entire phone call and then deliberately leaked it 3 days later on Facebook, which sparked a massive political crisis in Thailand. During the phone call, with an active armed dispute between the Thai and Cambodian armies ongoing on the ground, Paetongtarn Shinawatra referred to Hun Sen as uncle, a common term of endearment in Southeast Asia, and even more controversially, she told him point blank to ignore the opposite side, a reference to the Thai military establishment, and she even criticized one of her own generals who was in charge of operations in the border region. These leaked comments led to many Thais believing that Paetongtarn Shinawatra...
Man, this guy was pissed about the stealing all the money from the casinos, right? That's revenge, bro. That is revenge. Oh shit. You see? Politics is a fucking dirty, dirty, dirty game, man. Oh my god. The betrayal from both sides. Like, why are you trying to fuck up his business? The Shinawatra guy building casinos when, like, you know, in the US, the Indian places, the, how do you call it, where the Indians, they have their territories and they have their casinos and stuff. And I can imagine if, you know, someone like right outside their commute would be like, yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
had effectively committed treason. And only a few weeks later, on the 1st of July, the Thai Constitutional Court voted to suspend her
Which leader of a country doesn't commit treason? I'm waiting for that answer.
Office, and elevated her deputy prime minister to take over as acting prime minister in her place. Shortly afterwards, Thaksin declared to a room full of journalists and politicians that his decades-old friendship with Hun Sen was over, while the Thai military and monarchy also sensed a unique opportunity to permanently remove the Shinawatra's influence from the country for good as well. They probably began viewing a potential conflict with Cambodia over the disputed border as a perfect opportunity to draw up Thai nationalism and political support after the removal of the younger Shinawatra from office, while also simultaneously casting the Cambodians as a major foreign threat that made Paetongtarn Shinawatra's comments leaked over the phone call appear all the more treasonous and heinous to the Thai public. The Thai military and royalist establishment also introduced formal charges of lèse-majesté against the elder Thaksin Shinawatra for comments he had made a decade ago while he was in exile as well, which is a unique and highly punishable criminal offense in Thailand Thailand for insulting the country's monarchy. If Thaksin is found guilty of the charges, he could become sentenced to up to 15 years in prison, and at the current age of 76, that would effectively be a life sentence for him. So with both Thaksin facing the rest of his life in prison and his daughter removed from office, his old political rivals in Thailand are about to achieve what they've always wanted, removing the popular Shinawatra's influence in the country permanently. And in order to seal it, they had an incentive to push for conflict with Cambodia over the disputed temples to whip up old nationalist sentiments to shore up their own support. Hun Sen had strong incentives to push for conflict.
And yet another war by a politician that is unpopular with its own people, risking lives and killing people and putting humans at risk just so they can keep power. Sound familiar? Oh my God.
For conflict too, though, in order to whip up Cambodian nationalism and political support for his son and heir that he had just installed into power in the country. And so in this perfect toxic mix of political pushes toward conflict going on both sides, on the 24th of July of 2025, a Thai soldier stepped on a landmine near the border and lost his leg. The Thai army quickly determined that the mine and other mines that they discovered nearby had been planted by the Cambodians recently, despite Cambodia being a party to the Ottawa Treaty that prohibits the use of anti-personnel landmines. Within hours, the Thai army announced that it was indefinitely closing large sections of the border and placed their troops in the area at combat readiness. But the government expelled Cambodia's diplomatic envoy and recalled their own ambassador to Cambodia. The next day, on the 25th, both sides claimed that the other's army opened fire along the border first, and so ensued the 5-day war around the disputed temples and other areas along the border that potentially killed hundreds of soldiers in the most ferocious combat scene here since the Cold War. Despite the acting Thai Prime Minister's warnings early on into the conflict that it could spiral into a full-scale war between the two countries, that was unlikely to ever happen because of how incredibly outclassed the Cambodian military is by the Thai military. The Thai military budget is nearly 5 times greater than the Cambodian military's budget.
5.7 to 1.3 bill. 124,000 to 360,000 troops, more than double. Almost 3 times. Actually 3 times. Basically 3 times the personnel. 4 times the armor vehicles. 5 times artillery. Oh man, 15 airplanes against 230. Okay, helicopters at least. Keep it like, dude, keep your helicopter safe. Is the only thing you're even close at. Man, this is not looking good for Cambodia. However, I like to believe that we are in a civilized planet now, and once I just give them the temple. If like Cambodia, they don't have the cards. So, man, I am always like a realist. You are gonna lose this shit, don't even risk the lives. Because then you put the lives at risk, people die, military people die, humans die, civilians die, people get displaced, and then you end up losing it anyway. It's fucking realism saves lives.
Budget. The Thai military has nearly tripled the number of active duty personnel, almost 4 times the number of armored fighting vehicles that are significantly more modern and up to date, and more than 5 times as many artillery systems. To make the military balance of power between them even more lopsided, the Cambodian Air Force and Navy are both practically non-existent compared to their Thai counterparts. The Cambodian Air Force has literally 0 fighter aircraft and consists of just a handful of rudimentary utility helicopters and transport planes, while the Thai Air Force has tens of thousands of personnel and dozens of modern F-16 and Gripen fighter aircraft due to Thailand's close modern military alliance with the United States. Cambodia has a handful of modern Chinese-made anti-air systems, but they don't even have enough of them to fully cover their own side of the border.
So you see, when it comes to the military, Thailand does have Western military equipment, and Cambodia does have the West and the Axis. I don't like calling them the Axis of Evil. That's such a propaganda name. But I guess, yeah, the Axis. I don't know. The East, they're not the East. They're also not the left or like the communist. I just call them Axis. So yeah, they're getting weapons from China. So in theory, when it comes to military supplies, Thailand is getting it from the West, Cambodia is getting it from the Axis group.
With Thailand, the gaps of which the Thai Air Force were able to exploit during the war to break through and bomb targets within Cambodia with virtual impunity.
Well,
and when it comes to their navies, the Cambodians only have a fleet with 20 light patrol craft and 200 motorized canoes with 4,000 personnel, up against Thailand.
He said canoes, right? He said that part of the military navy of Cambodia are 200 motorized canoes. Wow. Cambodia, you're in deep shit, bro. You are in deep shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my
Thailand's
god.
fleet being one of the
This is
very few in the world.
This is a headphones come out moment. It's the first time we had a moment like this where I had to take my headphones out because the face palm was so legendary. They put in their military navy inventory canoes. The fact that they're even on the list. Some patrol ships and dinghies. Dinghies with a fucking Yamaha. I don't know how many horsepower fucking. Oh my god. Look at the difference. This is not gonna be pretty. This is not gonna be pretty, this difference.
World that possesses an actual aircraft carrier, along with multiple amphibious warfare ships. For
They have an aircraft carrier. Just one aircraft carrier and done. That's good night. Lights out.
frigates, corvettes,
This is
landing ships, and
hilarious.
patrol craft, complete with 70,000 personnel, utterly dwarfing Cambodia's naval capabilities. In the
My
event of an
God.
actual full-scale
Oh my
war between
God.
them, Thailand would be the odds-on favorite to win
not
decisively,
even
just like
close.
Vietnam was the last time Cambodia went to war with one of its neighbors back in the late 1970s. But just because it doesn't make any sense doesn't mean it can't ever happen. It didn't make sense for Cambodia to go to war with much more powerful Vietnam in 1978 either, but Cambodia's leadership at the time still chose to go down that road anyway. A factor that helps push both sides to a quick ceasefire this time around were both of their relations with the global superpowers, the United States
wait.
and China. Thailand has been a strong U.S. time
So-
around where both of their relations with the
Cambodia went to war against Vietnam after the Vietnam War against the US, the one that they won. And since America couldn't do it, then Thailand can, and then Cambodia is now able to do it. Oh, where the Americans didn't succeed, we can with our fucking paddle canoes. Let's paddle canoes and throw whatever, these slingshots, rocks. My God, man. Oh my God.
with the global superpowers, the United States and China. Thailand has been a strong U.S. treaty ally and arms customer for decades, dating back to the 1950s, but maintains close relations with China as well, while Cambodia is more heavily backed by China.
Major non-NATO ally. So Thailand is very, 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 very in bed with the US. It's not that easy. Thailand has very, very nice trade deals, and now they are having a great relationship with China. But militarily, they are very well aligned. Very, very well aligned. It's good to know.
China.
So what is this? What is it? We're gonna have to find out what is this convoy of diplomats that landed in Cambodia not long ago. I mean, now we know that the reasons, in theory, is basically accidents. Somebody stepped on a landmine. Why are you putting landmines in the first place? But yeah, somebody stepped on a landmine. That isn't that what you're looking for when you putting? If you're Cambodia, this is where the conspiracy theories are born. If you're Cambodia, and you have no chance against Thailand, you know this. Militarily, there's zero chance. You are now in peace. It's a time of peace. You had an accident happen on the side of Thailand, maybe in May or something. That's what they said, or was it the opposite? I forgot already. Not forgot, but I already got confused. Was it? Didn't we ask Grok about it? No. Didn't we ask? Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, on July, a Thai soldier was injured. But in May, what happened in May? A Cambodian soldier was killed in a border incident. So that's how it started. An accident. Yeah, an accident when a Cambodian soldier died, and then of course by retaliation they put landmines a couple months ago or a couple months later. It's not necessary, because if you're putting landmines in the territory of them, this is Thailand territory. You're building trenches in their territory and putting landmines. Obviously, some Thai person is gonna step on it. This is an obvious and on purpose escalation. And what about this diplomatic convoy? They had something to do with this. When did they arrive? Let's finish this and see if we can find something.
China. Most of the Cambodian military's equipment is provided by China. China signed deals to transfer the Cambodians a number of...
This is from August though. Okay, so this is actually already kind of old. 10 days later, no. Okay, let's go to Thailand, Cambodia news. Let's see what's up. No armor, no fear, just cigarette and rage. Cambo storms Thai position like a one-man army. The Cambodian Rambo is real. What the fuck?
Tíបំផុតសាច់រឿងពិតដែលកម្ពុជាត្រូវបានថៃឈ្លានពានមានការសែនល្បីមួយនៅស៊ុយអែតយកទៅចុះផ្សាយហើយដោយលើកយកសម្ដីលោកស្រី Astrid Noren Nilsson អ្នកជំនាញកិច្ចការអាស៊ីអាគ្នេយ៍ដែលបានរិះគន់នឹងហៅការលក់យន្តហោះ Gripen ឲ្យទៅថៃថាជាទង្វើលាក់ពុតហើយស៊ុយអែតត្រូវបានគេមើលមកថាជារដ្ឋក្បត់ការ
Oh no, how long have I been muted? Okay. Okay, I don't remember how long I was muted, whatever. I was saying that all of these posts there's not a lot new, just about this bombing of the casinos. Let's check antiwar.com then for... Oh, this cannot be so anticlimactic that the only thing that happened was just a casino bombing and that's it. Africa, Pakistan, Syria, Lebanon, Russia, Ukraine, Latin America. Dude, where's Thailand? There's nothing about Thailand and Cambodia here? Thais bomb military targets. Dozens killed. The 17th of December, Thailand demands unilateral ceasefire. So from Al Jazeera, released 4 days ago, Bangkok says Phnom Penh must be first to declare a ceasefire, even though they were the last to bomb. Thailand has demanded Cambodia must be first to declare a halt in the fighting or bring the end, blah blah blah. Cambodia must cooperate sincerely in efforts to clear landmines. Yeah, that was not okay. A fighting between the neighbors prompted... I don't understand, because the last thing they did was bomb the casinos. No pressure for ceasefire? Yeah, of course. You're the one... It's an easy win for you. No one is pressuring us. Who is pressuring whom? I don't know. Oh man. Okay. This is not getting this rabbit hole. It's getting hard to enter. Let's fucking lands in Cambodia. Where did I hear that? Who said that? Was it McGregor? There is no recent credible report for a U.S. intelligence operative landing in Cambodia in the manner your query replies. However, the defense military has confirmed reports that Cambodia has hired a US-based lobbying firm that waged what it described as information war, aimed at swaying international opinion against Thailand amid the ongoing border dispute. Am I right? So they hire a propaganda arm of the US, because they are professionals at that shit, to smear Thailand. Very good. But that's not the cause, that's the effect. So it seems like date. Where's the date? Gotta find the date first before I read anything, because you never know if this is old, new, whatever. 2017. Too old. Cambodia counts the cause of its border war in Thailand. The US tried to orchestrate a coup in Cambodia. US. Scam centers fueling Thailand's border war. How? Scam centers. China, US seeks Thailand, Cambodia ceasefire. China and US seek Thailand, Cambodia ceasefire ahead of ASEAN meeting. What the fuck is an ASEAN meeting? Wanna know? I wanna know. December 19. ASEAN ministers to meet in Kuala Lumpur on Monday to discuss the conflict. Maybe we should have talked about this on Monday. Asians share cautiously optimistic about meeting. What does ASEAN mean? It's probably the EU in Asia, a group of countries. That's what I'm assuming. Okay. China and America are against the war. That's good. So it seems like there's nothing here. Interesting. Not everything is a conspiracy theory, apparently. Apparently, this uh, group of intelligence people that landed in Cambodia were after the fact, were actually to help with the conflict, but it seems like it's all a big fat accident. It's a nothing burger in the sense that the facts, so far, the facts are not suspicious. Everything seems just like a big fat accident, and I don't see any kind of political. I mean, you have this competition between these two families about the casinos and the money and stuff, and they bombed the casinos because they know that that's the main source of income of this Hun family. However, there's no conspiracy behind that. It seems like for now everything is pretty clear. The last thing that we know is, honestly, I think we can leave it here. I think this is everything. A short one today. So yeah, it seems like it's all a bit fact accident. In May, a Cambodian, was it a soldier, some member of the army, was killed. Everybody's pointing fingers. We don't know exactly what's happened. We can call it an accident because if there has been no conflict for around 15 years since 2011, they said. I mean, there shouldn't be any reason besides just an accident. 6 months later, Cambodian were hurt. They put some mines where they shouldn't have. Another accident happened, and now we are here. So it seems to be for now just actually what it is, and hopefully China and the US can put some pressure to stop this. And yeah, let's try to reduce the amount of conflicts. Please check out the episode I'm gonna release in a few hours, where I go through a podcast exploring how all of the wars right now in the world might have an effect, and what's the risk of all of that becoming World War III. So we can just say that we need de-escalation somewhere. Someone needs to de-escalate. Not everything can be escalation, because that's all we hear. Russia-Ukraine escalation, de-escalation and then escalation. Israel-Gaza, de-escalation and then escalation. Venezuela, only escalation, very quick one. And yeah, I think I hope that China and the US at least can agree that Cambodia and Thailand, whoever is on whoever's side, that they should all holster their weapons and let's sit down, have a beer, figure shit out, and man, just share the money. I don't understand what people have against sharing. Okay, this is a very important location because it brings a lot of tourists. Just call it like the border in between both and have everybody share the money. Who gives a like, really? Really? Do you have to go to war for this? I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, if Thailand would be nice, they would realize. I mean, if people would be generous, they would realize, yeah, Cambodia is not doing as good as us. So let him keep, or do some deal where, hey, let's do something since Thailand has more power. This is the diplomacy part, right? Since Thailand has more power, Thailand can say, you know what? I'll make you a deal. The temple and all of these lines that have been under constant, I don't know, battle for the last 100 years, they all belong to us. However, since you are a weaker economy country, all of the money that comes from that is gonna belong to you until you recover or until you reach blah. Some kind of deal like this can be possible, and everybody wins. Cambodia gets some money until they can recover. Thailand gets the land, which at some point is gonna include the income that comes with it. And it's also in the best interest of Thailand to help Cambodia become a bit more powerful. So am I naive? Am I too innocent? Am I watching too many Disney movies? I don't know, man. I just think diplomacy has to be possible. It has to be possible. People cannot be so greedy. The world leaders cannot all be so greedy that they all want everything. They're not willing to share anything. It doesn't compute in my head. How can everybody be the complete like picture of greed and hubris and I deserve an entitlement? I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, well, we have a short episode today. Thanks everybody for staying here. Please, I remind you as usual, like, subscribe. Sorry to bother you guys, but it's really important, especially at the beginning, to like, subscribe, share, comment for the algorithm. Let's see if we can catch some eyes. I'm working on, after I have a couple of episodes like that, I'm doing this, regularly and with discipline. I'm gonna start working on collaborations, have some interviews with other channels, and hopefully get the word out there, and try to bring the message out to the world, more messages out to the world that speak about peace. There's too few. It's always about war. Either from this side, let's kill this side, or the other side. Everybody's talking about who deserves to kill the other side the most. Nobody's talking about de-escalating. So this message has to go out there, and we need everybody at home, whichever religion you are, meditate, pray, talk to the universe, talk to your cat, talk to your dog, but ask for peace and be a nice person outside. Do a good deed a day if you can. You see someone lost on the street with a map. There still are some stupid enough not to use Google Maps. Yeah, approach. Hey bro, you need help? You lost? Why not? Why not? Be nice. Be nice. Alright everybody, gringos, gringas, beaners and beanerettes, thanks a lot for listening through this Cambodia and Thailand conflict. I hope you learned. I learned a lot. I hope you learned also. Any questions or something, put in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow for Burkina Faso, and I will also do another episode of a podcast breakdown, which is a debate with a Piers Morgan debate. We're gonna have so much fun. I love Piers Morgan's debate. Piers Morgan debate about Venezuela. And so yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.